Hi there, Traci Pirri with Hope for the Journey. Last week, we talked about how normal it is for therapists to feel overwhelmed when they're exploring issues about dissociation. Totally normal. If you missed last week's video, please do go back and feel free to watch it. It had some really good nuggets in there, some things for you to take away. And if you deleted it by accident or just need us to resend it to you, always feel free to press reply at any time. We're happy to resend something for you. But one of the things that we talked about was about how doing work with complex trauma clients brings up your own issues as a therapist. And I wanted to dig into that a little bit deeper today because it's such an important issue. So let me give you an example of why I feel like it's so important and how it comes up. I had a client who came to me letting me know she had a dissociative identity disorder diagnosis, so DID. She'd had previous therapy, some improvements, definitely not full healing, and she was extremely guarded and reserved and was telling me what was going to happen, what wasn't going to happen, all kinds of things, just very much in my face. A lot of her protective parts were right. And rightly so, she's trying to protect herself. She's been hurt by all kinds of levels of authority, people that were trying to help her, all of those things. So I totally understood it. But when we would get into session, all my normal tricks of helping people to kind of feel comfortable and connect with me weren't working, and she was staying just very conflictual and angry. And I took this case into a consultation group that I'm in, and was staffing it and realized that, this was bringing up a lot of my own stuff, right? Like when I was in her presence, I felt completely overwhelmed and confused and felt very insecure, and like my body was really tight. It was just not good. Obviously, she was bringing up some things for me. And so I went, as I do, on my own. Typically, I figure this stuff out outside by myself. And so I did. I spent some time by myself and just kind of trying to figure out what it was, and realized that it was bringing up some memories for me from when my parents would, argue. They were divorced, and there was a lot of conflict in their relationship. And it would really dysregulate me when my mom would be upset and my dad would be upset, and they'd be yelling at each other. And this client and her defensive parts were bringing up that little part for me. And I needed to do some work in myself to be able to get back into a place of calm body, and then be able to stay in calm body with that client. So maybe you've had an experience, whether you realized that was old stuff coming up or not, this experience of like, I felt overwhelmed, I felt confused. And so I wanted to, tell you, go into your own therapy if that happens, or find some ways to work through it like I have. But one tool, one little nugget for you to walk away with is a self-compassion break. And you may have already known this break or not, known this tool. This is based off of the work of Dr. Kristen Neff, who's just fabulous in the self-compassion realm. But it really does help in the session and outside the session. And I would invite you into that space. It's 3 easy steps. The first step is just to kind of acknowledge and validate the pain. So basically what you would do is just notice it and say, this is a moment of suffering. This is a moment of overwhelm. This is a moment of confusion. This is a moment that doesn't feel good. And then you would remind yourself that you're not the only one in that situation. Every therapist known to mankind has been in situations where there's been some transference that's going on, and some pieces coming up for the therapist based off of what the client is bringing in. Very normal, very expected. And so then the third step is then to ask for what you need. So I like to do it with breath. So I would breathe in and wish for myself. I wish for myself peace or calm. And then breathe that out, saying the same thing for the client. I wish them peace or calm. Breathe in for myself, the peace, and breathe out the peace for my client. And I can do that silently when I'm with a client while I'm listening, or I can do it before or after the session. And that piece of, bringing in that the self-compassion break, which is evidence-based to really bring your neurological system into a place of rest and shift things for you, is very, very helpful. So I encourage you to use it this week. Go out, use it. Feel free to reply to the email with any questions or to let me know that it worked. But that's our one little nugget for today. So if you haven't already, another really good grounding skill is to print out that ultimate therapist cheat sheet for dissociation if you haven't done it already. If you have, make sure that you have it available for you. Either digitally, you can just bring it up and just look at it, or you have it in session beside you so that you can just very quickly have some ideas of things to do when you're feeling that overwhelm and confusion and loss. All right. Thanks so much. And next week, we're going to be talking about the best treatment models for dissociation. Thanks so much.